veggies, but also mealworms and raw meat and things like that. So it's not overly fun. The other thing is these guys are nocturnal, so they're asleep all day, they're up all night, and you'll notice they got those big beady eyes there, and that is because, like I was saying, they're nocturnal. The other thing about these guys is they are loud. Oh my goodness. I know he's being very quiet right now, but when you get 2 or 3 of those, these guys are very social, so you need multiple. The cacophonies that they make, oh my goodness. These guys do not ever shut up, and I'm personally a fan of sleep, so I would like to keep them far away from my house. But if you decide that you still really, really want one, I very much recommend you do a bunch more research into them, because I could honestly talk to you guys for hours about why you don't want one as a pet. But I don't think you guys would want to sit here and listen to me for all that time. The other thing is that these guys, they get rehomed constantly. So if you do your research and you really, really want one after all that, try to adopt one. Don't shop one. There are so many of them. We get emails every week asking if you want to take in more sugar gliders. You guys can definitely find one out there for very cheap or free. If you're really looking for one and you're very, very dead set on it. The other thing is these guys live 10 to 15 years. So it's like having a 2-year-old that's had 100 shots of espressos and can climb up walls, living with you for 15 years. Now, with that, I'm going to pass you guys off to the next marsupial we're going to show you.
So wallabies, close enough. Dale here is just 5 months out of his mom's pouch, and he's letting me hold him in his bag because it feels just like home to him. Usually in the wild, this guy, the mothers will take kind of good care of him, but at the farm here, for some reason, the mothers don't seem to like their baby. Once we take him away from his mama, she goes, he's letting me hold him. He's a little squirmy today. Usually he's a bit better behaved. Today, though, he doesn't seem to want to. So, you guys are wondering, well, this looks like a kangaroo. Looks like a kangaroo. Why is this not a kangaroo? This is a wallaby, in fact. So wallabies, while he is quite small, he is still a joey. At full size, they're not really that big. Kangaroos, if you've seen some of ours, you can see that some of them get up quite tall. Whereas a wallaby like this, wallaby here, they'll get about like maybe up to my head at most. They're really not that tall, even the males when they're full grown. As well, wallabies, if I pull them out a bit, you can see he's kind of chunky. And no, he is not overfed. That is kind of how they're supposed to be. They're a bit more round, they're a bit more fluffy. They're from Tasmania and from the east coast of Australia, where there's a lot of more forested regions, so they like it a bit colder, so they can get through a bit colder of winters than the kangaroos can. As well, they have a bit of a different type. Kangaroos are grazers like cattle. They do have a chambered stomach, in the same way that the cows do. And as well, if you're in the kangaroo field, you'll see that quite a few of them will be just grazing their head down in the grass, just eating all that they can. Whereas wallabies, they're more so browsers. They'll be eating a lot of shrubbery, bushes, things, basically anything green. As well as they can take sticks, small sticks off the trees and like strip the bark off, and it's small enough to like eat the whole stick. Now, let's see what else I got to go over here. I'm going to bring him around so you guys can all pet him and see how soft he is. It would be nice and gentle, please. On the back.
陣間都有得搞㗎。
Well, even though they're quite tiny, they have quite the lifespan. These critters can live in their late teens to 18 years old sometimes. And as well, as I'm bringing them around, you might notice that he has quite the long tail. These critters do have quite the kick, just like a kangaroo, although smaller. So they do the same thing where if they're going to kick something, they'll balance, lean back and balance their...
Alright, I'm back. And the speed demon I've brought with me is Zoom Zoom. He's an 8-year-old Shalkava tortoise, which means he's got about 140 years left to go. Shalkava tortoises are the third largest species of tortoise in the world, so he'll grow to be about 2.5 feet long, a foot and a half tall, and can get up to around 200 pounds. Now, another name for the Shalkava tortoise is the African spurred tortoise. And that's because these guys, they live in Africa, they have spurs, which are the big spiky things along their legs, and they're a tortoise. So it's not a very creative name. Zoom Zoom here, he likes waving to the crowd. There we go. Can you wait for the setback? Might be better. I'll take it. Alright. So Zoom here, he likes waiting for a couple reasons. One, he absolutely loves the fame. Confidence started going through his head. He's demanding more breaks, more food, more sugar and all that sort of stuff. And the other reason is because he's trying to kick me. He's not overly fond of being kicked out for extended periods of time, so I try not to do it super often. And he's got a couple good reasons for it. One, he weighs about 25 pounds, so it just feels weird for him to be up off the ground. And two, that's actually how they're hunted when they're younger. So big birds will swoop down, pick them up, and then try and drop them on rocks to kind of crack their shell open. 3 months in between bites of food, and about 6 months in between sips of water. Now, obviously we don't do that here. We make sure he gets as much food as he'd like. He gets lots of grass, lots of kibble, lots of hay, and as much water as he'd like. And then every other day, he gets a nice big salad. And honestly, with the salads he's eating better than I am upstairs. One of the other really important parts of their diet out in the wild is going to be rocks. And that's because these guys need lots of calcium to help maintain their skeleton. But they are different. So turtles are going to spend most, if not all of their time in the water. Whereas tortoises, like Zoom here, are going to spend their entire life on dry land. They might wade into like a creek or a pond here and there to sort of cool off. But for the most part, they're going to spend their entire life on the dry land. Because these guys are much more sinkers than they are swimmers. With that, I'm going to swap him out for my next critter, so bear with me here for about 30 seconds.
Whoa! Oh my gosh.
Alright, so this here is Bellatrix. Bellatrix is a 7-year-old Colombian red-tailed boa. Now, there's something we call a red-tailed boa. You might notice she's kind of missing that titular red tail. And that's because Bellatrix here, she was bred in captivity. So one of the big things in the reptile world is getting lots of different morphs. So different scale colors and scale patterns and things like that. There's no real difference between them other than just the aesthetics and how they look. So normally out in the wild, fish have to be very brown colored, lots of brown spots along their back. And then towards the base of their tail, they start getting more and more red spots. This is where they get the name red-tailed boa. Biologists looking after reptiles don't tend to be that creative. These guys can be found all over sort of South America, with this specific subspecies being found in Colombia, where they will eat just about anything they can fit in their mouths. They will eat eggs, lizards, snakes, rodents of various sizes, monkeys, parrots, things like that. And some of the big females, which can get up to about 10 feet long, weigh almost 50 pounds, they'll even go after things like caiman and smaller crocodiles. In captivity, their diets don't tend to be as varied. They tend to eat things like rabbits, quails, rats, and children who don't listen to their parents. So I'm sure all the kids here are nice and safe, right? Red-tailed boas, like most other snakes, are ambush predators. They're going to sit and wait until something tasty walks by, and at which point these guys are going to strike. And red-tailed boas are not poisonous or venomous, they're constrictors. So they're the type of snake that will wrap themselves around their prey and constrict them or squeeze them to death. So you might wonder why she's around my neck. Now that's just because it's the safest way. It's most comfortable for me. She weighs about 30 pounds. And two, if she ever were to start squeezing a little bit too tight, keep my hands free so I can do whatever I need to. But also, constriction is only ever a food response, so she's not ever going to constrict me, because she knows I'm far too big to eat, and I probably don't smell all that tasty to her either. Now, the last thing I'm going to mention about Bellatrix here is like all other boas, is that she's never going to lay any eggs. These guys actually give live birth, and they'll give birth to up to about 25 snakelets at a time, and they even have sort of a pseudoplacental connection with their young. With that, I'm going to pass you guys off to Keith, and he's going to start chirping away about some of the so-called cool birds.
Hey everybody!
Hi!
How you doing today?
Good.
Good. I'm the infamous Keith you've been hearing so much about. And on my shoulder is Cypress. Hello, can I have a kiss? I want a kiss with you. Cypress is a coconut lorikeet, all right? You're going to find cypress all over Australia, Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, the Philippines, places like that. Now, this bird eats what all birds eat. Okay, all birds eat the same sort of stuff, right? Little insects, little worms, seeds, nut, fruit, things like that, of course. This one, though, unlike some birds, likes nectar. Will drink nectar out of a flower, just like a hummingbird, okay? And like a hummingbird, they're very hyper because of it, okay? Which means this bird needs a little exercise, which means I need a help, which means I need you. Could you come up here, please? Now, it feels like this bird already pooped down my back, did it?
No, not yet. Oh, it did.
Okay, good. So that means there's less chance of it pooping on you. So we're gonna have it stand right here. I'm gonna have. What's your name? Hello, Melissa. Nice to meet you, everybody. Melissa, everybody. All right, Melissa. I'm gonna put this bird right here for you. Okay. There you go. Just hold that bird there. All right. I will start bidding for the poop command at $50. Any takers? Nobody? Oh, all right. We'll just exercise then. All right. You just keep looking forward, Melissa. I'm just gonna all right. You ready to go? You ready to do your chin-ups? Are you ready? Are you ready? I don't want to hear you agree from you. You ready to do chin-ups or not? You ready? You ready? Okay. Here we go. Chin-ups it is. Here we go. You can keep the glasses down. That looks cool. Here we are. Woo! Yeah. Woo! Yeah. In a one. In a two.
Masakit sa buhok niya.
Up. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you very much. Very good. Now, all you kids that are sitting around here right now, when you go to the park or when you go back to school, just over a couple weeks, you guys dangle on the monkey bars like this? You guys like to dangle off the monkey bars? Yeah, but can you do this?